Come empty, clean, declutter, and organize my home office with me. This is a long overdue job where I need to pull everything out, clean bits that haven't been cleaned for a while, and deal with the clutter. And if you're new around here, hi, my name's Rhiannon Morgan. Everyone calls me Ree. If you are on a bit of a decluttering journey yourself, head to mummyoffour.com/declutter to grab my free clutter-free checklist to get you started. So this is my home office, which on the face of it doesn't look that bad, but inside the drawers, down deep, is kind of messy, okay? The clutter has been building up. Look, these are the bits you don't see in my videos, inside the drawers and stuff. It's a bit of a mess. It's a bit like it was originally organized and it's gone a little bit out of hand. And it's just sort of stuff that's gone a bit slung. And considering I spend so much time in here working and editing, it'd be super helpful if this space felt clean and organized, and then maybe my brain could feel clean and organized. All of these things are just full of just shoved things. I've just shoved things out the way where I can't see them. So we are going to need to pull out some of these drawers and just see what's in there. I'm sure a lot of it does not need to be there. I'm sure a lot of it's surplus. We are not going to tackle this massive unit today because honestly, I only have a couple of hours. We'll probably do this little cupboard, which is just kind of cameras and stuff. It's not very well used space, I guess. Like the cameras have to go somewhere, but I feel they could be stored better elsewhere. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. Under here is a bit of a mess as well. I need to pull that out and clean and things. So I don't really want to do this, if I'm honest, at all. I don't want to do this. I'm not in the mood, but we're going to do it anyway. You and me, we can do this together. I am going to put one of these little, they're not AirPods because they're pink, but like AirPod dupe things in my ears. These things are great. They come in all sorts of different colors. Will's got green ones. Bella also has pink ones. But I just put one in my ear at a time. That way, if the kids are home, which they're not at the moment, they're in school, but if the children are home, I can still listen out for them and I can actually still switch over then if one goes flat and I can listen to a podcast, an audiobook, something to keep me going. This is a placebo effect. I feel like if I put my indoor trainers on, I feel like they make me go faster. And let's face it, as an ADHD girly, it needs to be anything I can do, any trick I can use to trick myself into doing stuff. Let's click our heels together 3 times. Does that do the decluttering? No. No, we're just going to have to do it then, aren't we? So now I'm going to head to my Organised Life binder and open up my decluttering workbook, which you can grab using the details below. Full disclosure, I have not done any decluttering in just over a month. And I should do some more. Should's the wrong word, isn't it? I've been really busy. I've not prioritized it. It's no good saying I haven't had time because the truth is I haven't prioritized it. I have been busy, but I've prioritized other things. I think that's the correct way to put it. So I'm going to write out now in my decluttering workbook what we were going to do. The space is okay, but it's not functioning well enough. I'm going to keep myself motivated with a timer. I only have about 2 hours until I have to go and get the children from school. So this, in theory, isn't going to be a really destructive clean and declutter. Spoiler alert, it becomes a destructive declutter, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. But here's what we've got to do. We've got to empty those drawers. I want to tackle that 2x1 calyx unit. I really need to do the under desk boxes. I want to sort under those and that little calyx unit in the corner. That should be enough, and maybe that if we've got time, to just do 2 hours if we don't do the destructive mode. But at this point, I'm thinking, do you know what? I don't just want to declutter. I actually want to really clean as well. So if you've been here before, you know what these are for. These are my baskets. I use them for flipping everything. I use them for sorting laundry. I use them for sorting things when we're packing, unpacking, and of course, for decluttering, for moving things from one place to another place. And also, of course, for sorting things into things to be thrown away, things to be recycled, just categorizing things. Now, genuinely, it was not my intention to empty the room, which is destructive decluttering. And what I mean by that is making enough of a mess that I can't stop until I've put it right. And I do this to make myself do things. This is one of my ADHD hacks. I back myself into a corner. So by doing my destructive decluttering method, which means I tip a load of things out and I make such a mess that I couldn't just stop, then it makes me carry on. Now, my intention for today was to just empty 1 or 2 drawers, empty them out onto the desk, go through them and put them back. What is that? Honestly, this is why everything needs moving. There's just stuff like stuck under things. And anyway, we're going to plan B. Plan B is destructive decluttering, which means I am going to empty everything out. It will be far more satisfying in the long run because I'm actually going to move everything and clean now. And honestly, in my opinion, it is far easier to declutter in a slightly larger area. So my office isn't massive, and if I don't move stuff out of the way, there's no massive amounts of space on the floor to tip things out, really. So if I move things into the lounge, it's a bit more work because I've got to move things out and then move things back in. But by moving everything into the lounge, I'm going to have more space to sort and categorize, which is a bonus. I'm also going to be able to really have a good deep clean in here, which obviously I clean, but I haven't had a proper deep clean in here since, like, moving the furniture, probably since this time last year when we actually did the office makeover. So we're about due, if I'm honest, to move things and clean behind them. Like, I've moved 1 or 2 things, but I haven't properly stripped the room, you know. By the way, that's my new Organised Life Planner 2.0, which is available in my planner store now. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. So go and check that out. It's as if my Organised Life Planner, the original one, and my Organised Life and Gratitude Planner, the one that I've been using for the past probably year and I'm obsessed with, had a baby. It's the best of both. I'm obsessed. I hope you'll be obsessed too. It's flipping changed my life, the way that I use my planner. Anyway, this is not a video about planning, but I want you to go and check that out after this video and just take a little look at what I've created for you. So back to destructive decluttering. It's not for everyone or for every situation. I know that when I do things this way, it feels more thorough and it feels more like the stuff I've decluttered is going back into a clean space. So it makes me feel like I want to be more strict, more thorough, more like I want to do a complete job and I want to actually get it done properly, you know? It sort of gives me enthusiasm for decluttering. And the other thing it does is I couldn't possibly just leave all that stuff forever now, could I? Whereas, do you know what? If I'd just done what I was originally going to do, which is open 1 or 2 drawers, take 1 or 2 things out, pop them on the desk, I probably would have done 1 drawer and then closed the drawers because my motivation, as you probably noticed at the beginning of this video, was just not there. So now we've moved everything out, we're actually going to clean the shelves. This wasn't on the list for today, but I figured since we are having a good old clean, then I'm going to clean from the top down. So I'm going to clean these shelves, which I'm going to be honest with you, I don't do nearly as much as I should. But while the sofa and everything is not underneath and I'm not pushing dust onto things, it seems a good a time as any to do it. It's a quick job, not as quick as you're seeing on screen because this is obviously sped up. If I could actually clean like this in real life, can you imagine how quickly I could clean my house? Can you imagine how satisfying that would be? But anyway, it's still a reasonably quick job. It's a reasonably quick win. And again, looking from an ADHD point of view, if you have, yuck, by the way, yuck, it's satisfying to see the dust, isn't it? Gross, but satisfying. If you have quick wins at the beginning of your decluttering sessions, it spurs you on to keep going. So this cleaning the shelves, it's satisfying. I mean, a bit gross, but satisfying to see how much dust we got rid of. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's tempting to pull all those bags off, clean all that, to pull all those boxes out and do the entire office, but I genuinely do not have the time for that. Not just don't have the bandwidth, but that's going to have to be a project for another day. So we've dusted the shelves. We're going to dust, well, we just dust the windowsill. Now we're going to empty these little drawers. This is a Calyx unit, just a 2x2. with drawers from IKEA, but we put different drawer knobs on them. Drawer knobs? Handles, that's probably a more polite way of putting it than drawer knobs. But aren't they pretty? I actually bought them for Bella's dressing table, and they were a pack of 10 or something, so they look cute on there. So those drawers are now empty, and this is where the baskets come in handy. Dump everything into the baskets, and then things can be sorted into categories, into what I'm keeping, what needs to be thrown, what needs to be donated, recycled, all the things, and then only clean, organized things in categories that belong together go back into drawers and things. So we've dusted the shelves. We're now moving this cupboard. Oh, gross. By the way, that corner. Do we remember what happened to that corner? Do we remember? We're going to raise up my walking desk just so we can get underneath to clean and stuff. That corner is where there was a flood. The boiler is above that corner, and probably the year we moved in, I think it was 2020, there was a flood. Literally, the flood came through the boiler like a waterfall, and that corner clearly has not been redecorated since, but since it normally lives behind a unit and no one sees it, you won't tell anyone, will you? It just hasn't been done, and to be honest, I'm not doing it now. Anyway, we've cleaned the surface, we've cleaned the, what's it called? It's not the skirting board. This is the skirting board we're doing now. The windowsill. We've done the windowsill, we've done the desk, we've done the shelves. Now vacuuming to get up all the bits that we've pushed onto the floor with the dusting. And now we're just going to do this cord, which is really dirty, dingy, disgusting, quite gross, honestly. I think you'll be quite horrified about the dirt and the dust coming off. Ugh, yuck. Achave is a Welsh thing, by the way, that I don't actually speak Welsh, but it's something my grandmother always used to say. It was kind of a Wenglish that my grandmother spoke, in that she was brought up speaking Welsh. She spoke English to everyone. But I didn't realise achave was not something, not something in the English language. I just thought it was something everyone knew what that was, until I lived in England when I was 9. So we moved to England for a bit when I was 9, and I was saying achave and no one knew what I meant. It means literally yuck to me, I believe. Welsh speakers in the audience, please correct me. But yeah, achave, yuck. Now this corner is quite gross and dusty and disgusting because there's so many wires and things. It's actually not as disorganized as it looks. All of those wires are kind of cable tied up, but this is the main hub for the whole house. That actual hub itself drives me nuts because it falls off that little skirting boardy bit all the time, and I'm trying to stick the leg thing back on right now and failing miserably. But all of the sort of, what's it called, like the hardwired Wi-Fi, it's not Wi-Fi, it's hardwired, is it? But the hardwired internet connections for the TVs for all the house kind of go into there. So it's just a bit of a chaotic mess. So we're not going to worry about it too much, but we've given it a bit of a dust. Everything's looking a bit chaotic now. So it's chaotic in the office. It's chaotic. It's a mess. Let's just tidy it up a little bit more. But we have, we're cleaning from the top down. It's at least going to be pretty clean pretty soon. Let's pretend there's not absolutely oodles of stuff all over the living room that I need to deal with, and just focus on the task in hand for now. So vacuuming the middle of the floor, just getting the worst of that up. And now let's sort of mop the floor. I am failing to put on my mop socks at this stage, which are like little mops you put over the trainers, which kind of dry the floor, stop you having footprints and things. Shout out in the comments if you remember my mop socks. I just realised as I was mopping there, I hadn't put my mop socks on, but this drawer thing, I was going to just empty in the office, but the floor is drying and I'm going to try and do the sorting and decluttering in the living room. So I'm just going to push the entire set of drawers into the living room so I can sit in there and declutter. Now let's look at the mess. Oh no. Oh, what have I done? I so don't want to do this right now. I really, really, really don't want to, but I have made this mess and now I've got to do it. So let's look at what we're dealing with. These are the drawers that have been next to my desk. It's just stuff this was organised once upon a time and everything's kind of drifted. And I'm sure half the cords in there I don't even need. So we need to empty things out. Now, the drawers are primarily the ones next to my desk, worky kind of things like hard drives and camera bits and stuff. But I also have a few kind of personal items like lip balms and hairbrushes and things like that, because obviously I spend a lot of time working at my desk. So the top two drawers are kind of a mix normally of personal items and stationery. And then the other drawers, the bottom drawers, are slightly deeper. So they are more sort of equipment and things. I think they're called Alex drawers and they're from IKEA. They're great. No complaints from me, other than the fact they're stuffed full. They have got drawer dividers, which does make it easier. So I would have last organised these drawers a year ago, because I think it was this time last year that my office makeover happened. So this is a year of, or a year since organising. And have I emptied these drawers and cleaned them since? Probably not. Have I emptied them and decluttered them or organised them? Definitely not. So emptying them first and cleaning them, so there is a clean space to welcome the newly organised and sorted stuff once it is organised and sorted. I do like this method stuff I'm using, which I think this one smells like peach something. Honestly, this may not be for everyone, but again, I need to kind of trick myself into doing cleaning. So if I have products that smell good, I'm more likely to want to use them. It's all about hacking my own ADHD and being like, oh, I like the smell, and therefore I want to spray it and clean it. And, that's why the cloths are pink. I like pink. I'm like, oh, pretty pink cloths. Maybe I want to clean with them. It's just sort of the way you might try and bribe a child is the way I try and bribe myself to do things, which when I say it out loud sounds totally bonkers. But if your brain works like mine, maybe you'll understand what I'm on about. So if you do relate, then please do shout out in the comments and let me know that your brain works in a similar way to mine, and if anyone else basically has to kind of trick themselves into doing things. This is my paper shredder, which needs to go back in the office without much more organising and decluttering. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. So much stuff. Okay, now let's start getting some stuff back into the drawers. And I've got to say, sorting things into drawers and things is so much easier, first of all, with the drawer dividers. I like the acrylic ones. There will be a blog post in the description of this video, and I'll link all the things that I'm yapping on about in there. But these acrylic drawer dividers make it much easier to keep the drawers tidy. And I know I've said that these drawers are reasonably untidy, but compared to how I would want them to be, they're reasonably untidy. But compared to how they would be if they weren't full of drawer dividers, they'd look like this. This, by the way, is a pile of cords that I found in my drawers. So we're going to see which ones I actually need and which ones are totally redundant. Now, bear in mind, I have now got a MacBook and a Mac, like an iMac, and both of them only have USB-C input, so the sort of skinny input. USB, the kind that would go in the like a bigger, like a normal USB, is, I think that's called USB-A. It doesn't have any of those plugs on either of my computers now. So any cord that has USB-A connection, I could maybe use one or two of them somewhere else into the house, because they're the kind that would plug into a plug perhaps. But I have hundreds of these blooming things, hundreds, in this drawer where I do not need them because they don't physically fit into my computer, and that is madness. These cords are going to need to be recycled. They're not going to be living in the drawer with all of the other ones that actually need to be used, because really, in a small space, and let's face it, if you live in the UK, very few of us have absolutely massive homes. Why would we want to fill the small amount of space we have with stuff we don't need or use? And quite frankly, even if you have got a massive home, do you want it stuffed full of stuff you don't need or use? The answer is probably no. Because when I go to my drawer, I want to be able to put my hand in and grab a cord that I can use and not sift through loads and loads that don't fit my blinking computer. And that is the reality of what we're actually looking at here. It does help to have these little Velcro things to keep the cords tidy. It's definitely thing when you're traveling and things. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite things about going on the Disney cruise is that if you've seen my other channel, my Magical Adventures channel, we love the Disney Cruise Line. We're going on another one soon in July. But when they tidy up the rooms, they tidy up your cords as well. It just makes me so happy. Someone tidying up and it not being me. So, so happy. So let's put some more of these cords back in. I'm sorting them by type and only ones that actually are usable. I've still got so much to do though. So flipping much. Okay, let's get some of the stuff let's get it back in the office. I've just realised I'm bringing the shredder back in. I didn't empty it. Oh, that's why it wasn't working very well. Oh dear. Okay, so now that the floor has been cleaned and has been dried, I've now tipped shred all over it because the shredder was so stuffed that it exploded all over the floor. But never mind, we can vacuum it up. And clearly this is a job that needed doing more regularly than I was doing it. But at least we're now making progress of starting to put some things back into the office. Things are going from the taking things apart, making a mess stage, into the starting to piece together the jigsaw back into a tidy space. And that's what we love. I think one of the hardest phases I find with cleaning and decluttering is when I get the space really clean and I start to piece some of it back together. I get the furniture back in place and it looks so amazing and clean and clear. And I just don't want to put anything in it at all because it looks so lovely and clean and clear. Okay, it needs a bit more stuff than that, like the rug, the sofa. But honestly, getting it to that stage and then being like, oh, I've still got all that junk to go through, that's a bit of a stressful, depressing stage. But it's so satisfying when it's done. Anyway, I've got this little rug, got that back in. Some of these little, they're not cardboard, they're little IKEA, like plastic file divider things, plonking those back in. I need to sort what's going in those. Can put the little wax melt burner thing, plug that back in, and just start putting some of these things back away. Things like that. I think that's my label maker I just put away. Fans, that's a portable fan, which doesn't get used most of the time in the UK. And then suddenly we get heat, we don't cope at all, and we need fans in every room. So that's my little sofa back in. We should probably get my walking pad and put that back away underneath it, and that little unit in the corner that is empty. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with that. My little YouTube light that YouTube sent me, some little cushions. See, it's starting to look cute already, and it's actually clean behind it now. I mean, we're going to pretend that there's not a mess of a wall behind that unit, but you can't see it, I can't see it, you won't tell anyone, I know. It's fine. So, no harm done. Let's push these drawers back in. Easier said than done, especially when you've only got one hand because you're holding the camera with the other one. But slowly but surely we will get there. And these drawers are now pretty organised. They are not full of cables that I can't even use anymore, which is amazing. And that's what we want out of life, isn't it? So get these drawers back in place. That just creates a little bit of extra desk space around this corner. I almost bought a slightly larger desk, but the next size up, the corner would have come way too far round and then you wouldn't have been able to get through the gap. So it was a bit unfortunate because I am right-handed, so more space on the right-hand corner of the desk would have been great, but hey-ho. There are some planners, that's stock from my planner store. They're just in these little boxes, which are also IKEA boxes. I don't remember what those are called, but they're just, if you just go to IKEA and type in white boxes, white storage boxes, they're those. They come in various, are they Scadis? I'm not sure. If anyone knows what those are called, shout out in the comments, show off your IKEA knowledge. There are smaller versions of them, but I will just link them. I link everything I'm talking about in that blog post, but I just can't remember right now what they're called. So those little boxes, I'm taking a few bits out. They normally live on top of that 2x1 little, like that 2-box calyx thing. I'm thinking I'd like them to go somewhere else though. I'd like that to be clear space. Just get my little microphone back out, my little fake plants. I love fake plants because I can't kill them. I have 4 children and I'm at my limit with just keeping the 4 children alive and sustained. I can't manage to keep plants alive, so we can't bring any living plants into the house because I will probably kill them. So we have fake plastic plants because it's one less thing for me to have to do or remember. I don't have to remember to water fake plants, and they always are there for me looking good and green. There's my planner back on the desk. Yeah, I think those, I'm going to put them back in the living room and sort through and figure out where they can go. And I want to find somewhere else to put the tissue box as well. I'd love that to be a clear surface. So we've got a slight problem now in that I have overestimated how much I can do in the time I have given. Totally overestimated it, let's face it. Are we going to put this stuff back in the cupboard it came from? No, I don't think so. I think we're going to find some space for the cameras more next to my desk in this tech kind of section. The GoPro batteries, so they can go, yeah, just with the other batteries. I think if I have all my camera gear in this one set of drawers, I did toy with keeping camera gear in that calyx unit that is in the corner next to my desk, the other one, but I'm so paranoid about leaving anything precious or electrical underneath the boiler. I know the flood was a few years ago now, and I know that the problem has apparently been sorted, but I'm terrified of putting anything valuable or precious or sentimental or electrical underneath that boiler in case we had another flood. So I think if we just keep all the camera equipment and the wires and things all in one place rather than some in the little cupboard, some in the drawers, it's just easier to find things, especially when I'm packing for trips, for vlogging and stuff. Obviously, I've got quite a lot of different equipment. It's just a case of playing drawer Jenga. And what I end up doing when I am organising things is trying things, and often things come back out to the drawers, then they go back in the drawers, and then I'll move things around just to try and make it fit better and to make it make more sense. Do you do the same? I just feel that you're not necessarily going to get it right first time, and sometimes things need to come back out and just, rearrange, see if you can make them work a bit better, fit a bit better. Got little lights and things, they need to go away. That's a little pouch of batteries and all that kind of stuff. That will just be thrown in my bag when we're going away. That just needs to be accessible because it's the kind of thing that I will pack to go. Just having it all in one set of drawers does make more sense, but then perhaps I could pack some stuff I don't use nearly as often in a different cupboard. So maybe these drawers should be things I use all the flipping time. Office is looking quite nice now, but the problem is I've still got all of this stuff, and I've run into another problem in that my alarm has just gone off to tell me I need to go and fetch the children from school. So we are going to have to pick this up tomorrow, okay? I've done not everything I planned to do, but yet I've done more than I planned to do. So click on the video on screen now to keep decluttering with me. I'll see you over there, or hang out with me more inside my Organised Life Club. Bye!